Deputy Chairman, sir.
Let it be.
Thank you.
What is official? Can you?
You ask the BJP office.
Thank you, Deputy
Thank you.
Chairman, sir.
He is say part. Sir, if it is party document, go and ask in the party. He will talk Anil Desai.
Thank you, Deputy Chairman, sir, for giving me the opportunity to put my thoughts before this August House. Sir, the most significant feature of democracy is the election process. Free and fair elections are essential in the healthy democracy. The more the elections are free and fair, the stronger the allegiance of the people will have towards the democratic institutions. The experiences of the general elections have shown the merits and demerits of the electoral system that has prompted Election Commission of India to make many changes in the system. However, still our electoral process is beset with many evils like use of black money, casteism, communalism, rigging, abuse of administrative machinery, criminalization of politics, and even capturing of booths in some areas. All these evils need to be weaned out from the electoral process and make it free and fair in true sense to enable people to have faith in our electoral process. Sir, we have come a long way from ballot voting system to EVMs. So it is the right of the voter. It is the right of the voter to know what candidate and what party he has voted. And that is why ballot paper voting system had its own significance. Late our party president, late Shri Balasahebji Thackeray, always advocated right in 2004 that ballot paper voting, that system should be in place instead of EVMs, because EVMs had its own defects, deficiencies, right together. And after that, though it was taken up that electronic machine of EVM is foolproof, but time and again the deficiencies came to the fore. That was demonstrated, that was presented to the Election Commission of India by all the parties, and after it went to the Supreme Court has observed in October 2013 that VVPAT, that voter verifying paper audit trail, should be there, that machine should be attached to the EVM so that people will know, the person, the voter who is casting his vote would know that where exactly his vote is gone. And I think that should be adhered to. That reform is the must, and I hope that in coming years, whatever elections would be held, that it will be with EVMs will be attached with VVPAT, and all the doubts will be cleared, and credibility of this system will make it permanent in the minds, or it will set in the minds of people that yes, what we are advocating or what we are following, that is the true democracy. So another point I would highlight is criminalization of politics. Today's elections, every party, whoever feels, they have their candidates, every party should bear in mind that the character, the image of their candidates and the perception of the voters, perception of the populace, that should be taken into account before fielding. It is immaterial whether the candidate is facing charges and fighting the case in the courts of law. Over and above that, it should be code of conduct exercise to be exercised by the political parties who to fill the field. Otherwise, to score that evil which was persisting in basic criminalization of politics, the option of nota, that is none of the above, was introduced as a reform, or that is a supplement that people that exercise that option. And of late in some of the local self-government elections, what we have seen, local bodies election, that this exercise is on the rise. Nota is getting more and more approval of the people. That shows that criminalization of politics to be exercised, and that is much in the hands of political parties rather than, the issue to be handled by the courts of law. Another point which I would like to highlight is, sir, anti-defection rule. Now, anti-defection rule, the provisions what are there, that unless two-third or the two-third majority or three-fourth majority, instead of that, even two-third or three-fourth of the members of the party, they exercise, take the side or take the help of this provision and defect to some other party. I mean, it should not be given that kind of chance, and they should be disqualified. That kind of amendment needs to be done. Otherwise, political parties, they take all pains, and people who believe in the vote bank of the parties, who believe in the principle or the ideology of the party, they vote for the candidates, and then their defection makes losses not only to the political party, but it is cheating on the people. It is betraying their faith. So this amendment needs to be done. Electoral funding, all the senior colleagues have spoken at length on this. I think one provision which was made, that making it, anonymous donations to the tune of 20,000, that has been reduced to 2,000. I think there are ways and means how political parties will adopt to it. I mean, it is not a big thing, but that can be taken in stride. But the provision which has been made, that donors should pay in checks and in a digital form. Digitally also they can transfer the funds to the political party, but it is very important that provision which FM has made in the finance bill, that prescribed limit of time, in that they should file their accounts to the income tax to avail that exemption of income tax. Otherwise, they will not be able to avail that. So that should be adhered to. That will be a sort of check on the political parties to clean up the system. So state funding of political parties is must. I mean, only to see that really ensuring level playing field, that will weed out most of the things which are prevailing as of the day. That in coming years' elections, I mean, if that is taken up seriously and with consultation with all the political parties, I think that will be the biggest reform. Sir, another deficiency what I have observed, that advertisement in the print media, that can be availed till the last day of the polling. Advertising in the print media, there is no restriction. But 48 hours before the polling day, that electronic media restricts your advertisements and your campaigning. But in elections, what we see, that till the last day of the elections, political party leaders, they often come in the adopting the means of interviews, and they are completely doing their campaigning for their party. So it is major violation of the election code of conduct, which should be checked. I think Election Commission should take note of that.
Desai, sum up kijiye.
Yes, 2 minutes I'll take, sir. I'm not taking much time. So another point which goes with it is opinion polls. I think rules should be framed regarding how to check the scope of opinion polls, because that goes long way in forming every voter to make his opinion about political parties. I think it should be, if at all things are to be done, then collectively some third party instituted by Election Commission should take up that, and they should come out with the opinion poll, which will not be one-sided or which will not help either ruling party or the contesting other parties. So last which point I would like to make, that Chief Election Commissioner wrote to the government calling for a slew of electoral reforms that could, among other few things, that certainly the use of black money in elections. I think Chief Election Commissioner Mr. Zaidi had written to Prime Minister that he said that bribery and paid news be made cognizance of his offences. He suggested that Election Commission of India be given power to deregister the political parties who are exercising those who are engaged in this kind of practices. The statement of Chief Election Commissioner need to be viewed seriously, and unless Election Commission is given more powers to for cleansing of the electoral system, I think it will be a far-fetched dream of the people of India that nothing true would happen. If it is to happen, some things need to be put in place so that our democracy, which is envied or which is appreciated by the world over, I mean, that will have more strengthening. And with these words, I thank you, sir, for giving me an opportunity to put my thoughts. Thank you.
Dhanyawad.